So, the US government just announced something huge. A plan so ambitious, they're literally calling it a new moonshot. It's named the Genesis mission, and the whole idea is to tackle some of our biggest problems by completely rewiring how science gets done, and it's all powered by AI.
But why now? Why a project on this massive scale? Well, to get it, you have to understand a really weird and kind of troubling paradox that's been happening in science. You see, we're spending more money than ever on research, but are we actually getting more big breakthroughs? The answer might not be what you think. And this, right here, is the heart of the problem. On the left, you see federal R&D funding, and it's just through the roof. But then you look at the right side, major breakthroughs, things like new drug approvals, and the trend is flat, or even going down. We're spending more to get less. That is the productivity problem the Genesis mission was built to fix. Yeah, this isn't just a gut feeling people have. It's a real documented phenomenon they called the science slowdown. And it's this exact challenge that basically forced the government's hand to try something radical. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. We have more money and more brilliant researchers than at any point in history, but it feels like we're running faster and faster on a treadmill just to stay in the same place. It's a pretty clear sign that the old way of doing things might be broken, and it's time for a totally new playbook. And that radical new playbook, well, that's the Genesis mission. It's being framed as nothing less than America's new moonshot, a massive, focused effort to reignite the engine of scientific discovery. And listen, that's not just hype. In the official executive order, they compare the mission's urgency to the Manhattan Project. I mean, wow. When you invoke that name, it tells you everything you need to know about how high the stakes are. Okay, so what is the Genesis mission really? Put simply, it's a national project to create the single most powerful AI-driven platform for science on the planet. And it has one crystal clear goal: to make discovery happen at a speed we've never seen before. And they've put a number on it, a really specific, ambitious number. The goal is to double, that's 2x, the productivity and impact of all American research in just 10 years. That's a huge target aimed squarely at turning that science slowdown completely around. So the big question is, how does this AI science engine actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the mechanics. The centerpiece of this whole operation is something called the American Science and Security Platform. You can think of it like a central operating system or a nervous system that connects all the different pieces you need to do research at the speed of AI. And it runs on what they call a closed-loop system. So here's how it works. First, it pulls together just incredible amounts of scientific data. Then it uses the country's most powerful supercomputers to train AI models on that data. Those AI models then come up with new ideas and run experiments in automated robotic labs. And this is the cool part. Those experiments generate brand new data, which feeds right back into the system, making the AI smarter and starting the whole amazing cycle all over again. Now, the secret weapon here, the thing that gives this mission a real strategic edge, is the data itself. We're talking about decades of unique, high-quality scientific data that's been paid for by the US government. It's an absolute treasure trove that no private company can just go out and replicate. But, and this is key, the government is not doing this alone. This is a massive team-up between the public and private sectors. They're bringing in the foundational eight, it's a who's who of tech, to fuse that priceless public data with the absolute best in private AI innovation and computing power. All right, so you have the problem, and you have this incredible new machine designed to solve it. So where do you point it first? What are the initial targets for this brand new engine of discovery? Well, they're not starting small, that's for sure. They're aiming at some of the biggest challenges we face. Imagine being able to design stable fusion energy reactors in a fraction of the time, or discovering new critical materials so we're not dependent on other countries. In biotech, this could shrink the time it takes to develop a new drug from over a decade to just a few months. It's game-changing stuff. And they are moving incredibly fast. The timeline here is just wild. They are demanding the first operational version of this platform to be up and running and actually working on a major problem in just 270 days. This is not some far-off dream. This is happening, like right now. You know, when you step back and look at it, this is so much more than just giving scientists a new tool. The Genesis mission is really about changing the scientific method itself, moving us from a slow, step-by-step process into a whole new era of rapid AI-driven discovery. And this really shows you the before and after picture. The old way, you have a hypothesis, you run an experiment, you analyze the data. It could take years. The new model is this tight, fast loop of an AI making a prediction, a robot testing it, and getting instant feedback. It could compress years of work into months or maybe even weeks.
And all of this leads to one final, kind of mind-bending question. Is it possible that the next great scientific breakthrough, the next Einstein-level discovery, won't be made by a human at all, but by an AI? The Genesis mission is essentially a multi-billion-dollar bet that the answer to that question is yes.